Hi ladies, welcome back to Fertility Mom. Today's video, we're going to dive straight into my best tips for getting pregnant when you have an irregular period. And it's kind of a tricky situation, so let's dive in. And really quick before we dive in, if you haven't already joined me for my live fertility workshop this year, there's still time to get into this next class. If you head down to the link below, you can register at that link and join me live. We're going to talk about fertility strategy. We're going to talk about things that you can do right away to help get your body on the road to your 2023 baby. We're going to talk about scientific breakthroughs with egg quality, which is my nerd zone. And if you've been listening to me at all, you know that I nerd out big time at this stuff. So if you haven't already joined me, definitely head down to that link below. It's a completely free workshop. My ladies have loved it. I've gotten tons of great feedback, and I want you to be the next one who learns all of these awesome things. So I talk to a lot of women all the time who are trying to get pregnant, but they have really irregular cycles. And it makes it very, very tricky to try and time intercourse at the right time, know whether you're ovulating or when. It just makes the whole trying to conceive journey very, very difficult. So before we get into my best tips, we should really define what irregular versus regular cycles are. So a regular period means that it can be anywhere from 21 days to 36 days. Now I know that normal menstrual cycle length has always kind of been textbook told to us as 28 days with ovulation happening on day 14. But most women don't have menstrual cycle lengths of 28 days. Most women will fall somewhere in between 21 days and 36 days, and that can all fall within our normal limits of what a normal menstrual cycle is. Now, if you have menstrual cycles that vary more widely than within 8 days of each other, so if you have a period on day 22 of your cycle, and then the very next month it's day 50, and then the month after that it's day 34, and then the next month it's day 22, that's very wide swings between each menstrual cycle. That's more than 8 days between. If you're having a period that's like day 28, then the next month it's day 31, then the next month it's 27, and the next month it's day 33, that's still within normal. That's still considered a regular period, okay? Ovulation could be off a day or two depending on what's happening in your life, stress levels and travel plans and all that kind of stuff. So those kinds of menstrual cycles that are just off by a day or two, maybe 3-4 days, not a big deal. It's those wider swings that we worry about. We can also define an irregular period as having less than 9 cycles per year. So if you're someone who only bleeds 7 times a year, you definitely fall within that irregular cycle range. Now, some reasons why you might be having this wide period variability or irregular cycles could be related to your exercise routine, or it could be related to your stress. It could also be nutritionally related. Your diet could be a little off kilter for your body and causing some things that are going on in there. Now, your weight might be too low. You might have insulin resistance, PCOS. There could be endometriosis, fibroids, other hormonal imbalances like estrogen dominance or progesterone deficiency. It could all be egg quality related. It could be caused by a multitude of different factors like stress and all sorts of things. So it's kind of important to assess, why is this happening to your body? Instead of just trying to override it maybe with medications, or if you're trying to stack on supplements onto the problem, that might not be the best way. What we really want to do is we really want to assess, what is happening? Why do we have this irregular period going on? And then try and fix it from there. And that brings me to my first tip for getting pregnant with an irregular period, is to really get to the root cause of what's going on. You want to zoom out and get a full picture for what's happening, not only in your diet and lifestyle, but in your lab reports as well. You want to make sure you get a full lab report, including a full thyroid panel. Now, I will link down below to my thyroid video that I did. In that video, you can get access to a functional fertility lab download for your thyroid, and you can actually download that whole thing and make sure that you get every single thing drawn with your doctor. You want to make sure you get the full thing and not just the TSH, so that we know we have every base covered with that. You want to get your hormones checked, but you also want to zoom out and take a look at your entire diet and lifestyle altogether. Do you work a night shift? Are you sleeping enough? Are you over-exercising, under-eating, not getting enough protein? All of these things matter. Are you getting most of your foods from processed food, carbohydrates, and sweet, sugary things? These things will actually make your period become irregular. It's really important. So all of these things need to be looked at, and we really need to get to the root cause of what's going on so that we can fix it from there. You fix it from the root and it will just fall into place naturally, and you will regain control over your body and your period will regulate itself. My second tip has to do with diet and nutrition. You want to make sure you're actually getting enough calories in, but you really want to make sure you're getting enough protein in. This is something that I find many women are deficient in, not having enough of, and they might find that even if they don't have any kind of diagnosed sugar imbalance or glucose issue like diabetes or insulin resistance, they still might have some sugar imbalance happening in the body, and this can actually throw your period off. So you want to make sure that not only are you eating whole and unprocessed foods for the vast majority of the day, but you want to make sure that at each meal you're getting enough fat and enough protein in to balance everything out and give your body the stuff that it needs to do everything it needs to do. Protein and fat are considered fertility superfoods, so make sure you're not too low on either one of those. And my third tip is to track your cycle using fertility signs. And those are your cervical mucus, your basal body temperature, and your cervical position. Tracking your cycle this way gives you the most knowledge and power over what's happening. You won't be asking questions like, have I ovulated? Could I be pregnant? Should I take a test? Should I not take a test? Should I see the doctor because I might be pregnant? Tracking your cycle appropriately means you don't have any of those questions. You know exactly what is happening at each phase. You understand that you haven't ovulated yet, and so there's no way you could be pregnant. So you're just waiting for that ovulation to occur. Also, if you're tracking your cycle while regulating an irregular period, you will see cycle to cycle how things change and get better. And that will give you an idea of what progress you're making. What are you doing that is helping, and what's making everything get better? So I highly recommend checking out my basal body temperature videos and cycle tracking videos, because those will help give you a better idea of how to appropriately track your cycle. I do not recommend that you go out and you buy hundreds and hundreds of ovulation predictor kits. Those can be extraordinarily frustrating, and it can get very expensive as well. Especially if you have an irregular cycle, your body might go through multiple attempts at ovulation without actually releasing an egg. If you're only using ovulation predictor kits, you might get a positive on that test, but then not ovulate later. And then you might have a question of, well, my ovulation predictor test said I was positive. It said I was going to ovulate, but I haven't gotten my period yet. Could I be pregnant? And then you're on this wild roller coaster of being late and not knowing, and it can be very frustrating. So I do not recommend only going down the OPK route. It can be extremely irritating, and then it can just leave you feeling deflated. If you go tracking with BBT and fertility signs, it gives you that ultimate power, that ultimate knowledge of what's going on in your body, and you don't have to ask anybody outside, hey, what's going on with my body? You will already have an idea yourself, and you'll be able to see the progress you're making. Most important thing, ladies, is that if you are trying to get pregnant and you have an irregular cycle, it's really important to know that that might not just make it hard to get pregnant. It might mean it's going to be a little bit more difficult for you to stay pregnant, depending on the reason for the irregularity. Now, I've seen lots of women who have irregular cycles that are able to catch that egg and have a happy, healthy pregnancy afterwards. But more often than not, what I see in my practice is women who have irregular periods, who are unable to get pregnant at all, or who have irregular periods, have gotten pregnant, but then had miscarriages because the root cause for that irregularity was never really found and not worked on. So if it's inflammatory based, if it's autoimmune based, there could be some underlying issues there that mean it's harder for you to carry a pregnancy to term. So we have to make sure we're taking a look at the full picture. If you have irregular periods, register for the live workshop at the link down below in the pinned comment or in the description box, so that I can tell you much more about how to regulate your cycles naturally and a lot of the root causes that come along with those irregular cycles, how we can kind of look and see more on that stuff. So if you're really interested in getting pregnant this year, you really want to regulate these cycles and get control over your body, head down to that link, register for the workshop, and I hope you learned something on this video, ladies. Eventually, one of these days, I am going to give you a short video, okay? Maybe I'll be able to do it soon, who knows? But it's on my bucket list to do for you this year that I'm going to come to you with like a 3 or 4 minute video. I'm trying. I really am. Anyways, ladies, I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.